Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it turned out drenched again, didn't it, eh? Yes. I'll see if I can get through this without coughing my guts out. About the 7th attempt at the moment. Anyway, yes. Anyway, the good news, of course, from yesterday is the Israeli invasion, or is it merely an incursion? Hard to say. Let's call it an invasion. Looks that way. Sovereign country and all that. Into Lebanon in full swing. And luckily, the Israelis have managed to find a iPad with detailed plans of what the nasty things that nasty Hezbollah were going to do. Yes, luckily it's next to a picture of Adolf Hitler on the iPad, written in English, and it also suggests that they're perfectly happy with Philip Schofield reappearing on ITV. So we can see just how evil they are. So well done, IDF there. Yes, most moral army in the world, obviously, and I'm sure this time round it's genuinely true. Anyway, yes, speaking of values and culture and things, yes, we've had day 2 of the Conservatives, hopefuls, cleverly. Today, for example, was spouting on about cleverly stuff. And, we had various other announcements. Kemi was in her usual brilliant self by suggesting that the minimum wage should be scrapped. Obviously, that's going to be a real vote winner, isn't it? Yes. I mean, I am actually in agreement with that, but not in the same way that she is, because I think if there wasn't a minimum wage, then employers would actually have to pay decently, because I would get rid of in-work benefits as well. So, that would really put the cat amongst the pigeons, but they won't do that, obviously. And, of course, we had Jenrick suggesting that British soldiers should, continue committing war crimes, which apparently has upset some people, because apparently it's not very value British culture thing for him to say that. But, Anyway, it'd be interesting to see nobody ask him awkward questions, inevitably. Anyway, just going to stay with Kemi, because the thing about cultures and values, because she did say a couple of days ago that she regarded certain cultures as being less valid, I think that was her exact word, than ours, and she cited gay people and women in particular. Now, most people would agree with her, right? Okay, I think most people would agree with her that, on balance, it's not going to be great to be a woman in Afghanistan, right? Nobody's going to disagree with that. Well, maybe the Taliban, but, they do have a particular view. Yeah, members of the Tory right, obviously. Anyway, aside from that, yes, most people would agree with that. But the problem I have with these kind of ideas is that they are always very ahistorical. They suggest that we live in a permanent now, whereby now is great here, and it isn't great over there. But there is a journey for us to be here, because let's think about gay people, because in my lifetime, gay people have gone from being illegal to not being allowed to have sex behind an unlocked door, to finally getting the age of consent, to finally being allowed to marry. And you can see that as a progressive thing that goes along. I'm going to be talking a lot about progressive values, because oddly, people like Kemi, whenever she's talking about the values and culture, she always talks about things that are quite progressive. Odd that, yeah. So we get gay people, but does it therefore mean that if you went back to 1950, that the British culture then would be less valid because we treated gay people badly, chemical castration and everything else, think touring? So when exactly, and if you'd say, well, yes, that was then, that was quite bad, then does that spill over into wider society? Because other countries did allow homosexuality, so were they better or more valid than we were? I don't really know. I get confused at that point. And this is especially true when we talk about women, because, of course, if we go back again into my lifetime, well, back in the 1970s, women finally got equal pay. Before that, were we less valid? Yeah? Women, up until about 1975, married women, couldn't have a separate bank account from their husbands, lest they go mad. Oh. Who knows who that they might be hiding, those hysterical beings. Yeah, so when did we become this now valid society? Because lots of other countries, again, for example, if you go back in history, think about giving women the vote, etc., etc., lots of countries did that before us. So were they more valid as cultures than we were? nobody can really say at that point, can they? And Kemi certainly can't, because she's never really thought of that as a concept. But I do find these things odd, and it presupposes that we've reached this zenith of being perfectly valid, whereby there is nowhere else to go. And yet, when you think about things like sexual assault, Met Police, MPs et al., you realise that maybe we're not. So, in 50 years' time, will we have not been now a valid society? I don't know. I mean, genuinely, I have no idea about that. Because, of course, we are living through various times when various things are, hopefully, progressing. And Kemi, like it or not, will have to be, dragged kicking and screaming into the century of the fruit bat, along with the rest of us. It will be intriguing to see. But I don't know. Maybe in 100 years' time, people will look back on us in the same way that they would look now, we look upon now, at the Taliban. In which case, are we invalid? Is our culture not good? I don't know. Answers on a postcard, as I say. Anyway, that was a bit deep, wasn't it? Or shallow, or nonsense, as no doubt people in the comments will tell me. Do have a lovely day, midweekish.